How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Voodoo15 here, and one of the guys asked for a review on the KI43, which is a favorite of mine. Obviously, it's my favorite plane now. I like the Brewster. Brewster has some high points, but the 43 is an amazing little airframe. So with that, let's get started. You have your fuel here. It's saying 45 minutes, but it's really, in the main arenas, it's about 22 minutes on 50% gas. You can double the time with your 2 drop tanks. 50% and 2 drop tanks is a standard. I usually like to haul around. It keeps you in the air for a long time, and you can get rid of them. And 50% fuel is an excellent maneuverability weight for the 4,800 pounds. So does a great job. The two little 250 kilogram bombs or 500 pound bomb equivalents are excellent. I've killed a number of tanks with them, and they're great. Currently, we only have the one skin. I'd like to get different. Let's see here, F8. As you can tell, it's a very thin tail aircraft here towards the back. It's pretty thin, so the tail is fairly weak, and if you lose any control surfaces, you're in a bad way. It's not real great. Your guns are a pair of 50 caliber equivalents, the HO 12s, and they have their high explosive properties modeled into the game. But there's only a pair, and it's 50 calibers. And so they're not very powerful unless you close. With this aircraft, what I like to do is, well, let's get it out on the runway. Let's take a look at it. I have Mitsu's updated sounds for the KI43 to include guns. And I love the sounds. They're great. They're awesome. As you can see, the cockpit interior is pretty simple, just standard business. Let's see here. Page down. You see you've got, well, where's my mouse at? I require it. Let's see. Fuel status, altitude, climb descent rate, turn slip, airspeed, RPM, temperature, oil pressure, and you just have 540 mgs, which is enough. I brought down a standard. You should be able to bring down 3 or 4 planes burning ammo. You should be able to bring down 3 or 4 aircraft with that. Visibility is excellent. I really enjoy it. It's like flying a Zeke. And so you can see left, right back, and out of the straight 6 o'clock. You just have a single headrest, and it's wonderful, wonderful little airframe there. Just let this guy get cleared out here. I really do enjoy this little airframe. So let's get it up in air. Let's see kind of what it'll do. First, and do what we're supposed to always do, and we come in here and we calibrate the joystick. I absolutely enjoy this little plane. It's a lot of fun. And top speed is about 308, 310 miles an hour at 14,000 feet. From 13 to 14,000 feet. Could be from 14 to 15. You lose a lot of power, and you'll lose it until you climb through there. I believe it's from 13 to 14,000. Let's climb up there and find out. It climbs like a little maniac. It loves to climb, and it does a good job at it. We've got our Dell. Let's feel it out here. Extremely responsive. You have 2 notches of, I say 2 notches of flaps, are the spoiler flaps. You get just 2 settings, 2 pops of the Dell. Unlike most Japanese planes, this one, like the KI-84 and the KI-61, can deploy its flaps at high speed. And when I say high speed, we're talking 250 miles an hour. Below 250 miles an hour, you can deploy your first notch of flaps. At below 200 miles an hour, you can deploy your second notch. It may be 150, but I believe it's 200. Let's do a little climbing here. Get the airspeed, the altitude up here. And if I recall, it's at from 13 to 14,000 is where you lose that engine power. So you want to try and stay either below that altitude or above that altitude, but up again at like 22 to 23,000 or 23 to 24,000 up there. It's only for 1,000 feet. You'll lose power again. So you have to be careful when you're fighting up high. I like to be usually 20,000 and below. That's where I like to hang out, but I like 10,000 and below, or maybe 13, right at that altitude cap. Let's get this climb on in here. Closing on 10,000. It's an extremely lightweight airframe, and it just handles so well. It's like flying a kite with machine guns on it, and it's an amazing deal. But you have to close. You have to close with your enemy. You can't blaze away at them at 500 yards, 500 feet, and hope to hit them. You can hit them, but you won't kill them. You need to close to 300 or less in order to get a kill shot. And you need to aim for wing roots, engines, tail surfaces, the pilot. Wing root is the easiest because most of the time the guys that you're going to be fighting are going to be turning. So you drop in and you hit them in the wing root. For bombers, must hit them in the wing root and set them on fire. And you're wanting to do this in about 2 seconds. You want to come in, hit them with a burst, and you want to get away, because if you take any hits, you're not doing real well. Now the KI43 is very resilient to damage. It does a very good job. Yeah, 13 to 14,000. Here it's starting to die. But as I climb through the 13.5, you can hear the engine start to come back. Mr. Deadstick wants to talk to me. Alright. Now, like most Japanese aircraft, it doesn't dive very well. So what you want to do is you want to keep a good eye on your airspeed indicator, which is up at the left-hand corner of your instrument panel. Now, it'll start to climb. It'll start to nose up as you gain your airspeed. The best thing to do is to find a point in front of your bad guy and to start heading that way at a high rate of speed. At 350 miles an hour, you'll start to get stress. You do not want to do any maneuvering at these stress sounds. You want to dive in a straight line and pull up slowly until you've gotten rid of that excess airspeed. Just listen. At that point, you want to cut throttle, all throttle, and you want to slowly ease back on the stick. It's not going to be very responsive until you get down to about 300 miles an hour. Do not make violent maneuvers with that stress sound going on. Don't make turns, don't make banks or nothing. You can, but make them very, very slow. Very slow. Now we're down here about 250. Pop a notch of flaps. I've had this plane falling backwards, I'm not joking you, in a tail stall, and pulled it out at about 150 feet. It's controllable all the way down to its minimum altitude. As you can see, just a little bit of pull from that torquey little engine, and you're back in the fight. It's very forgiving as far as your maneuvers a lot of the times. The snap roll is not real nasty. It's a very stable platform. It has self-sealing tanks. Very rarely do I get set on fire. When I do, it's usually by something with Hispanos on it or some kind of large cannon. I'll use the tail. It's a weak tail back there. I'll lose the entire elevator or rudder control surface. The most important thing is to close at the enemy, to close at the bad guys. And like all turn and burn aircraft, your situational awareness is vital. You must keep it up in this airplane because you can't take that amount of punishment. You can take more. It's taken a lot of hits. I've taken a lot of bullets, as you've seen from some of my videos, but it's not invincible. But it's pretty impressive the amount of punishment it can take for an aircraft of this size. That's a Typhoon. And you go, oh well, this, you know, it's so slow it can't shoot down anything. I've shot down probably every airplane so far in this game. I've shot down bombers, I've shot down fighters, I've blown up tanks, I've shot up warbles, I've taken out ground guns. Anything you want to do, this plane will do it. You just have to learn how to do it properly. What I'll do here is so what you're trying to do, you have WEP. It runs out in about 3 or 4 minutes, but it recharges in about 5, so you can use it several times in a sustained fight. I've used it multiple times in a sustained fight, and it climbs. It loves to climb. Right about here, I would just put it out in front of him about 210 and start ripping into him. You'll get engine hits, radiator, stuff like that. But where you want it to go is for that wing root. You want that weak wing root. And so you're going to close. And it's just a maneuverable, wonderful little airframe to fly. And so at some point you're going to finally get to where I'm at right now. At this range. I knees, love it. And you're going to get to that range, that sweet range. About 200 is where I like to shoot at, and 250 seems to be, the 250 is a stock convergence. That's where it's set at, I believe, but check it, make sure. So 200 or 250. I leave out at 250, and I shot down 190 something aircraft in the first month it was out, and wasn't even really working with anything. How's it going, bud? And so it's an awesome little airframe to fly. Like, we're gonna do this right here. In fights against Zeros, you know, you have to be careful against A6M2s. They can flap with you, and they're lighter. But against Brewsters, as long as the Brewster's not initially behind you, oh, it's wonderful. So let's get into a little tangle with this Bad Angel guy. He's in a KI, so I'm gonna split up. Let him have that. The most important thing is when you use your flaps to get rid of them. As soon as you don't need them, you get rid of them. Right here. Hit that right between the meatball and the fuselage. Now he's just making circles right now, which is not real great for him. And right here. And the other thing is, you don't, just because you can follow him doesn't mean you should. Like in that maneuver, I could tell his altitude wasn't real great and he'd lost control of it. This aircraft will drop and is very maneuverable below 100 miles an hour and is still controllable at 50 miles an hour. You can use that, what I've talked about a lot of times, like the I-16, a cushion of air. And it's pretty good. I wish this guy was a little bit better so I could show you. If he could maneuver a little bit, it would be great. But The main thing, the most important thing with this airframe is to close. You must get close. You must shoot accurately. Shooting accurately, though, I mean, obviously, is important. So what I would do is I'd go into the main arenas and find targets and attack them from different angles and put bursts and just get close. And then pull up dump airspeed. Right here, I would be all on him. A lot of times you want to, talking about Shaw's, you want to stay on a lag turn where you can still maintain the visual, because he can reverse so easily. So what you want to do is for him to make a sustained turn, and then towards the ground again. You want him to make a sustained turn and then cut down on him as he makes his turn, like right in here. He's making it a bit difficult. I'll let you know when I would shoot. Right about here. Right in there. That'd be all in his fuselage right there. But you would want it in his wing root, obviously. Right here again, see? Bum, 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 bum. And that would be a wing gun there. Up, 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 up. Right in there. And right in here. Never turn your motor off in a fight. Very rarely does it work, and when it does, it's not often enough to count. Never turn your motor off in a stall fight. The only thing keeping you alive is the fact that your motor can still pull you around and out of trouble. Unless you run out of gas, you would be hunting for a landing spot. It's an amazing airframe. The two things that are highly important: accuracy. You must be able to shoot. If you can't shoot with this airplane, you'll never get a kill with it. You'll just get assists all day. You have to close with the enemy, and you have to be able to hit them. And not only do you have to be able to hit them, but you have to be able to kill them at close range, under fire. The other thing is situational awareness. You're going to need that in this aircraft. If you don't have it, you might as well stay out of this airplane, because just like the Brewster, you're not going to do very well without it. I would say that this aircraft is more of an elitist type plane. It takes a lot of skill to get the maximum potential out of it. Not so much skill, but just concentration. You must have excellent situational awareness when in fights that I get into. You must have excellent control of your stick. You must have good accuracy. They're all very, very vital to flying this little airframe. And but it's an awesome airframe. I really enjoy it. A lot of folks get all upset and stuff about how well it can turn, and they get shot down by And they're just little punk bitches because they're not paying attention to what the fuck they're doing when a KI finally shows up. And that's not my fault. Because I'm going to take any advantage I got because everyone takes every advantage over me. But it's an amazing little airframe. It's so cool. It's so fun. It's so light and nimble. And the guns are great. And the fuel endurance is great. And it's tough. It'll take punishment. It's got self-sealing tank, so it doesn't burn like a little Roman candle. It fucking maneuvers. It's accurate. The guns go where you want them. I love the plane. It's an amazing little airframe. I don't predict unless they come out with something even better than this. Like, I don't know what they could come out with better than this. But unless this one had cannons. If I had one 20mm cannon, it would be awesome. But I think it takes a lot more skill to fly this airplane than it does others. Or a different type of skill, I should say. Just because of the way that it flies and the way that it's built. But it's an amazing aircraft, and the rudder controls are so smooth, and the little plane just is an amazing little plane. I really love it a lot. And if you haven't seen some of my videos, hunt them down in the on my page. Number 6 was the last video that just came out, and that was pretty serious fighting with the KI. In one deal, I get 6 guys finally. I'd gotten shot down a number of times that day, but in one flight, I killed 6 guys, and so that was pretty cool. And a lot of fun. The first notch is 250, and I'm pretty sure I say notches, but the settings, excuse me, it's at 250, below 250. I want to say it's below 150, to be honest with you, but it might be like 225 or something like that. It's not very high, which is awesome. As you can see, I'm doing like 80 miles an hour, and I still have good control, you know, low altitude here. I'm just gonna ease this little guy in here, and it's such a smooth little airplane. It's awesome. It's great. Even with an oil hit or fuel hits, it still just does a great job. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's just an amazing airframe. Well, I hope this has helped you out. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope this teaches a little bit about the KI43, what little knowledge I have about it. And hopefully I'll start seeing some more KIs in the air. I like fighting them by themselves, not with multiple people. Fighting them with multiple people is not fun, because KIs are usually on your tail and everyone else is trying to cut you. And I will see you guys in the sky, I suppose. Alright, guys.